Hello everybody, welcome back to a brand new episode of F1 23 Driver Career Mode here on the channel. I hope you're all having a great day, fresh off of a wild finish in the last episode in Miami, where we saw Red Bull and Sergio Perez pick up their first win of the season in dramatic fashion, to say the least. Now, it's Monaco time, so probably a little bit less chaos and controversy here now, as we, of course, are coming off of a 10th place result there in Miami, or sorry, 12th place. My mind's all over the place. 12th is what we ended up as well. We did have a time penalty that put us down in P12 there behind Pierre Gasly as we were coming into this weekend. Now, we have an interesting weather development here, so it's going to be a dry weekend for the most part. Grand Prix is going to be dry. Free practice one here on Friday afternoon. Dry situation as well. But qualifying, it's going to start dry, but probably about Q2, Q3, it's going to start raining, and you guys know, usually, aside from last episode where it just didn't click, the rain usually plays into a huge advantage for myself. With how, of course, important track position is in Monaco, I have a pretty good feeling about this weekend, depending on the timing, of course, on the rain in qualifying. But of course, free practice one, we got to focus on first getting acclimated with the car and the track, coming off of a very, strong set of runs. Even Miami was going well until the tire failure. Aston Martin seems to be finding a bit more pace here now, but we're going to be, of course, fighting, neck and neck with Mercedes for however long it's going to be until we kind of fade backwards towards Red Bull and whatnot, as teams continue to make some upgrades to their cars. But you saw the order there in free practice when we jumped through to Saturday afternoon. You can see some clouds there, but the rain was definitely not quite a threat yet at this point in time, but like I said, about Q2, Q3 area, it's going to become a threat here now as we would get ready for a Q1. Should be able to get into Q2 really just with one decent lap. I had not put a foot wrong so far this weekend, was hoping to continue that. You see the engine light was on, so there was a component or two that was getting a bit worn, but I wasn't too concerned because it was Monaco, so we're just going to deal with it. But I did make 2 laps, and that would allow us to cruise through into Q2, P5 with Leclerc, Russell, Alonso, Hamilton all in front of us. Out of Q1 though, Magnussen, Stroll, De Vries, Tsunoda, as well as Logan Sargent here now. But look at this weather. Now, it says it's raining as soon as we start Q2, so immediately I get out on the track. It's thankfully not even sprinkling yet, so we're safe here. We thought it was raining, but it is not. So we will get some dry running to begin Q2, but we know the rain is imminent here. Getting as many quick laps in as I can. I was hoping for about 2 again. We go P1, top of the board, right off the bat here, but we're going to make a second lap here and see what we can do now as we continue up the elevation now towards the back of Lando Norris. We have a crash. It's Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton's crashed out in Q2. He's run into the back, I think, of Max Verstappen, who's in the middle of the road. What are you doing, Max? And he stomps right in front of Hamilton, and as soon as Lewis hit him, he speeds up and runs away. As kind of shades of Jeddah all the way back in 2021. So myself and Alonso were top of the board, but the rain had moved in very shortly after this incident, so this would end Q2. So myself and Alonso would be top of the board. Leclerc ends up missing Q2. Hamilton obviously doesn't even get a lap, so we would jump into Q3, and it was wet. So the conditions were improving late in this session. I had not made a lap yet because I saw the conditions were going to improve, so we would make a lap basically at the end of the session. Back against the wall, one and done kind of scenario. The times are improving. Look at the track map though. A lot of cars close together. I think we've got a good chance for pole because we know how good we are in the wet conditions. Perez is all by himself just like me. Perez would go top of the board, so pole position currently in Sergio Perez's name. The other pack of cars, they would find time because the track was improving, but not enough because they were so clumped together. And here I am in perfect position. The track conditions improving all by myself. We have practically become a rainmaster at this point, so I was feeling pretty good about our chances here now as we came through these final few corners. Now the penultimate turn. Here we go, up a little bit of a hill, and then into that final turn. Is it going to be pole or not? We've gotten one pole this season. It was in China in the rain. Here we go to the line. What's it going to be? I think it's P1 in Monaco.
Fantastic, you've got pole position.
There you have it, pole position in Monaco, our second pole in Formula 1 over Perez, Alonso, Russell. You see the rest of the order there, the top 10 with Gasly at the back. What a effort in qualifying, setting us up perfectly for the Grand Prix. Let's head to the grid on Sunday.
Formula 1 returns to Monte Carlo once again today, home to the world-famous Monte Carlo Casino that first opened in 1863. And of course a certain road race first held in 1929. There's no greater an occasion, no more valuable a win than the Monaco Grand Prix. The prestigious Circuit de Monaco, then, is not all that dissimilar today to the layout that made its debut almost a century ago. It's 2 miles and 19 corners through the streets of Monte Carlo. And although the average lap speed of around 93 miles per hour is the lowest of the season, the tiny margins for error make it the natural habitat of the safety car. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. Golden Boy lines up on pole position, edging out Sergio Perez, who lines up P2. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Fernando Alonso, Russell, Ocon, Sainz, Norris, Verstappen, Oscar Piastri, Gasly, Leclerc, Albon, Joe, Hamilton, Magnussen, Stroll, De Vries, Tsunoda, Sargent, and Valtteri Bottas begins the race from the back of the grid. With preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track. Also here, of course, is Anthony Davidson. We should talk about Williams. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within that team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do. And that's definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
Well, there you have it. We're ready to go racing here from Monaco now, as we will be doing a medium compound tire strategy. So mediums, then to the hard tire. Now, through the grid today, pay attention because the booth is going to be bringing in Christian Horner into the commentary box to talk about the qualifying incident between Verstappen and Hamilton, as well as a little bit more. As you see, Perez, the only driver starting on softs. I decided to stay on mediums. I think we can cover him off into turn 1.
The formation lap gets underway and every driver will be looking to settle in for the race ahead, making sure that their car is ready for the battle once the lights go out.
Okay, Checo, good luck today. Use those softs to your advantage early.
So as all the cars take their positions on the grid, the teams will be hoping their strategies pay off for them in today's race. The question I'm asking is which teams have got it right, which ones have got it horribly wrong?
All right, be ready for Perez to attack. He will be on faster softs here.
Yeah, 10-4. I think we'll be fine. I'll just hold him off through turn 1. Ready to roll in Monaco, looking for our first win in Formula 1. We've been close a couple times this season. Of course, the heartbreak in Azerbaijan there, the Baku City Grand Prix. We want to make up for that and get a win here today, or if not today, you know, I wouldn't mind it in my home Grand Prix coming up in Canada there in Montreal, but we'll have to wait and see what happens here. I would not complain about my first win coming in Monaco, just like F1 22 actually. We got our first win in Monaco. Can we do that here today? We're ready to race 39 laps in the Monaco Grand Prix. It's 5 red lights and we are ready to roll. It's lights out, we're underway, and it's already a good start there over Perez, who's of course wanting to get to the lead as soon as possible on those softs and try to drive away, but we cover him off brilliantly into turn 1. Not really even a contest there, and it's going to be Perez, Alonso, Russell there first through 4th position. Esteban Ocon with a great qualifying effort finds himself there in 5th place in front of the Ferraris. Now Perez, a bit of a slide right there. You saw the rear end kick out. Alonso all over the back of him here, but myself pretty happy with this opening first, quarter to just about half of a lap here in this opening moments of the Monaco Grand Prix. Leclerc, of course, further down the order of the background. You saw him side by side into the iconic hairpin here in Monaco. Now as we lead into the tunnel, this is where Perez is going to try to get the attack on, and you're going to see him closing up drastically here as we head down towards the chicane. Fortunately, not enough of a gain, but he actually pressured me enough to where I kind of felt it and went a little bit deep there into the chicane. Fortunately, able to stay ahead there and keep the car, on the apex for the most part and in the racing line. so I don't have to worry about getting overtaken here as we head down through the next chicane. And now I think the biggest place to be concerned about Perez is now actually Perez runs into the back of us. He tries a NASCAR style bump and run you would see like at a Martinsville Speedway and whatnot. Watch this. He runs right into the back of us now. We would continue on and thankfully lead at the end of this first and opening lap.
I just got bulldozed by the Red Bull.
We saw it. The car is fine.
Right off the bat, a little bit of drama here, but we would be able to kind of calm down. Yellow flag actually behind us, lap 3. It's Perez. The engine has failed on Sergio Perez's car, so it's not going to matter anyways with his different strategy, and he's holding up Ocon on back, so that allows myself, Alonso, and Russell to all run away because you can see now on the track map, look at the difference between the top 3 and then 4th of Ocon on back, so that makes things a lot easier for this Grand Prix unless we see a safety car, and it's pretty rare that we see a safety car here in Monaco now. So we continue on lap 6 now, trying to just settle into this 39 lap race. I really wasn't pushing too hard, but you know, I was pushing enough to try and manage the gap to Alonso. I just don't want to push because I'm afraid I'm gonna put it in the barrier. You know, last season, our rookie season with AlphaTauri, if you guys remember Monaco, we crashed late in that Grand Prix. I think it was a move on Esteban Ocon we were making into turn 1. And the rear end kicked out. I've got a different setup this time, so that rear end is not going to be an issue here, and the brake bias is certainly different as well. Lap 14 now, 1.9 seconds ahead of Alonso. So in the kind of middle part of this run on the mediums, we were starting to stretch out the gap to Alonso here. Look at this. We actually have the timings on the replay, so I don't know what it is. It seems like some races the times are there in the replay mode, and then some races it's not, and I don't understand what makes the difference, but we have it today, so very cool. Hamilton down in 13th place right now. Leclerc has gone nowhere, still down in P11 right now. Logan Sargent rounding through the back of the grid on those medium tires, just like everybody else, of course. Now Perez the only one not on mediums, on the softs, out of the Grand Prix. Myself and Alonso had opened up a nice gap to George Russell. I was nearly 5 seconds ahead now of the Mercedes, and about 1.5 seconds ahead of Alonso. But I was coming into the pits here. Lap 19, pit window opens. We're going to come in for a fresh set of hards. So far, we have not really put a foot wrong. We've made a few mistakes here and there, but you know, not putting it into the barrier, that's the big thing. And I was playing it, like I said, pretty safe. That's why Alonso was kind of able to slightly close that gap there. But it's a solid pit stop, 2.6 seconds. We are going to, it looks like, come out only behind one car, and that is Carlos Sainz, and hopefully by the time we even catch him, he's already into the pit lane, and that would actually be the situation. He would pit before it even gotten to him. So Alonso now in the pits as well. Here's the big kind of story right here. Who's going to come out ahead? Alonso's exiting the pits now, but we're going to zoom right on past him and into the second position, and Russell is actually going to be taking this run pretty long, so he's not doing mediums to hards. Russell is eyeing up a medium to soft tire strategy. We would come through to set the fastest lap, but Alonso immediately makes a statement saying, I'm the fastest Aston Martin here now. As you can see myself catching the barrier. Every time you scrape the barrier with the front wheel, you actually burn right through it on the tire wear. So my left front was quite worn because of that. But Russell is giving up a lot of time right now, but he's going to pit for the soft, and then he's going to have a ton of time that he will be making up because of that tire advantage. He now comes in approaching lap 25. So on the softs, myself and Alonso already ahead of him, long gone down the road. But Russell, fortunately for him, will have no traffic to work with because of that Perez incident so early in the race. But a quick race here in Monaco so far. Aside from the contact with Perez, it's been a pretty calm weekend. And now we're going to go through the grid where Christian Horner is going to make an appearance.
Owen is looking in great shape to get the first win today, although we said the same thing in Baku, so knock on wood for the young Canadian. We've got Christian Horner from the Red Bull pit box with us. Christian, how's the race gone so far?
Well, Checo was out with an engine failure, so what does that tell you? Aside from that, Max has had a solid 6th place run so far. We're continuing to make gains on Aston and Mercedes.
Christian, what can you tell us about the Saturday incident between Max and Lewis? Here's an audio clip from what Lewis said.
He'll never change, man. He just parked it in the middle of the road and ruined our weekend.
Yeah, Lewis always has something to go after Max about, doesn't he? He can say whatever he wants. I just look forward to our cars being better than his by summer break.
All right, thanks, Christian. And good luck on the final 10 laps. Hamilton currently scored down in 17th place. A rough day and weekend for him.
Well, we had some choice and fighting words there from Christian Horner. Hamilton down in 17th place because he is doing the exact same strategy as Russell. However, it worked for Russell because he had clear track to stay out longer on the mediums. Hamilton didn't, so he lost more track position, and yeah, it's just not a good Grand Prix for Lewis Hamilton, or a good weekend, of course. Now, in my opinion, that qualifying incident, I mean, there's no way you can put that on Hamilton. Verstappen stopped in the middle of the road while Hamilton was on a flying lap. Of course, Hamilton could have not hit him, but still, nonetheless, 3 laps to go in this Monaco Grand Prix. Now, as we continue on, less than a second now between myself and Alonso because I'd kind of backed it down, playing it safe. 2 laps to go, approaching the final lap of the Monaco Grand Prix, and you can see the gap, 0.4 of a second as we head down into turn number 1. Russell, 1.9 seconds back. He's probably gonna get here, but he's obviously not going to be able to actually do anything. Alonso put some pressure on us now, burning through some of that battery. Should have plenty of battery, both of us, of course, to go through on this final lap, as you don't use much in Monaco to begin with throughout any lap of this Grand Prix. Now, what a Grand Prix it has been for us. Of course, no foot wrong aside from, you know, the occasional barrier scrape, but fortunately we haven't put it into a barrier and, you know, damaged anything. So we have been in command from start to finish, of course, under pressure all Grand Prix long. Alonso, of course, wants to win this race in Monaco. You never know, it could be his final Monaco Grand Prix, and what a way it would be, of course, for him to win it as we continue down into this final chicane here now in lap 39. Now, as we see all those beautiful yachts that I would love to visit after this Grand Prix as a Grand Prix winner, of course, in Formula 1 and in Monaco. No better way to go to my home Grand Prix in Canada than off of the momentum of my first win in Formula 1. We still have 2 corners to go. Alonso's close. You see him on the proximity radar, not close enough through the penultimate corner. Russell is here, but he can't do anything around the final corner. For the first time in our Formula 1 career, we're going to become a Formula 1 winner in the Monaco Grand Prix.
Oh, superb driving. That is the race win, my friend. Well done.
Oh my goodness. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. What a day. What a day.
Aston Martin deserved a win today, and they got it. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
I feel like consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
We are officially a Formula 1 winner. We did it in F122 at Monaco. We did it in F123 at Monaco. Now, as we get to wave the Canadian flag on the top step of the podium, awesome to see the Canadian flag back on top for the first time in so many years, of course, now, as we get that Monaco trophy now. And we beat our teammate of Alonso, who, of course, has kind of had the upper hand on us all season long. If it was a more of an open track, I'd say the likelihood is Alonso probably would have got us, but we take it either way we get it now. As you can see, myself, Fernando, and Russell celebrating there on the podium. A terrible day, of course, for the championship leader of Lewis Hamilton. That's going to spice up the championship, and we will see the standings here momentarily. But obviously, we did our job at Aston Martin and Mercedes with Russell, Alonso, and myself. Hamilton didn't do his job. Obviously, it was hard for him to do his job after the incident with Verstappen. Now, let's take a look at the standings. We have a new championship leader, Fernando Alonso, 15 points ahead of Lewis Hamilton, 24 ahead of Russell, 27 ahead of myself. It is so close there as Red Bull and Verstappen specifically trying to crawl their way back into the mix now, as we'll take a look at the constructors standings as well. Of course, it's going to be very close between the two teams. We are 12 points ahead of Mercedes and 140 ahead of Ferrari, 142 ahead of Red Bull. That's going to wrap it up for us. What a day. We are going into our home Grand Prix with a lot of momentum there in Montreal. I'm very excited for it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching. Have a great day, everybody.